In this tutorial, we will learn how to add various files to your workspace. There are a few different ways to add files to your workspace in Netflix Studio. In previous lessons, we already created a system in your workspace that contains subfolders for the various file types that make up your system. These subfolders are Source, Include, Module, User Interface, IR, and Other. The first way to add a file to your system is to add it directly to the subfolder. For example, to add a source code file, right-click on the Source subfolder and choose Add Existing Source File. You can then browse your PC for the file, or multiple files, and click Open. In this example, the source file is of a .axs file type. You will then be presented with the File Properties dialog box. If you selected multiple files, you will have the option to edit the file properties of each file. File properties include the identifier, file name and path, relative path, and other information and options relating to the selected file. You can edit the identifier name of a file to change how the file name appears in the workspace. This does not affect the actual file name or the path to its location. This process can be repeated to add more files to your system, such as user interface or IR files, by right-clicking on the relevant subfolder. Another way to add files of different types is to right-click on the system folder and choose Add Files to System. By default, Netflix Studio will be looking for a .axs source file type, so change this to match the file type you are looking for. The file will then be automatically added to the appropriate subfolder. Lastly, Netflix Studio supports a drag and drop option which allows you to drag files from Windows Explorer onto the system folder for inclusion in your workspace. So let's actually add some files to our workspace. Follow along because we are going to use these files throughout the remainder of this course. The first file we're going to add is the touch panel you created in earlier lessons. First off, make sure your touch panel file is located in the same folder as your workspace files. Now, simply right-click on the user interface folder, browse to the workspace folder if you're not already there, and select the touch panel file you wish to add. You should only see one. Click Open. I'm not going to change the identifier here, so I'm just going to click OK. Our touch panel file is now included in our workspace. Next up, we will need to add an additional source code file. Right now we have a source code file, the lab master source file. This source code file will be what we use throughout the course in lessons to teach you how to program. Periodically we are going to assign you exercises to complete on your own. Therefore, we need a source code file that will be used solely for the purpose of completing these exercises. At the conclusion of this course, you will turn in these exercises for evaluation in order to receive credit for this course. So let's right-click on the source folder and choose Add New Source File. It then asks if we wish to create the file from an existing template. Yes, we do. Click Next. Just like when we set up our workspace for the first time, it asks which template we wish to use. We don't have any user-defined templates, so let's choose Netlink's Standard Template and select Next. It now prompts us to name the program. Pay close attention. We want this file named P1_exercises_your first initial _ your last name. There's no need to check the box here, so click Next when you are done. It then asks you for the location where you wish to save this new source code file. Just make sure it's in the Workspace folder you set up and click Next. Congratulations! You just created a second source code file. It will now open up in the Source Code Editor window, and you'll also notice it is now listed in the source folder. For now, just close that file. We'll let you know when you need to start writing code in that file.